Social media reaction genre, silly comments are considered especially heinous. At Dear Woke Christian, the dedicated content creators who investigate these horrible comments are members of an elite squad known as the Dusty Comments Unit. These are their stories.
Grace and peace, everybody. I'm doing a quick mic check, and I'm going to do a video as the mic check. So I'm just testing out, make sure that the audio works. I have a live stream planned for about 2.5 hours from now, and I want to get something cleaned off the plate, so to speak, and it is dealing with the most infamous one, the fool of all fools, the clown prince of Pan-Africanism, Jermaine Shoemake, also known as Dr. Umar Johnson. So I was looking back through the crates and I ran across another video. One of the issues that I noticed when I did the video about white Jesus, lots of people come out of the woodwork to support Umar Johnson whenever you address Umar Johnson and the Christian church or the Christian faith or Christianity or whatever of that nature. Lots of people come out of the woodwork they got to support him. They got to cover for him. They got to provide him some kind of insulation. So I noticed that when I do videos discussing him scamming the school, there's not as much pushback. There's not as much, there's not as many roaches coming out of nowhere. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just test my theory. I'm gonna pull up a video and I'm gonna do a live reaction to Umar Johnson saying some crazy stuff about the Christian church. And again, I'm not gonna argue about African deities. I'm not going to argue about spirit worship or ancestor veneration because those are not part of my faith system. I see those as lesser than the gospel of Jesus Christ. I see them as flawed. I see them as lacking as it relates to the eternity that Christ promises through the gospel. So today, I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm not going to deal with a whole bunch of comments and stuff like that, but I want you to jump in the comment section and tell me if I'm wrong. I love when y'all tell me I'm wrong. Oh yeah, again, shout out to all the Umar Johnson supporters. Every time I get an influx of pro Umar Johnson comments, every time I get the influx of the sign language that's shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right from Umar Johnson, Jermaine Shoemake's cadre of clowns, I'm gonna drop another video. Absolutely. Am I grifting? Are you grifting, Jason? Absolutely, I'm grifting. I'm grifting off of this fool because I'm gonna hit 50,000 subscribers before that school opens up. That's how savage I am. I'm gonna hit 50,000 subscribers on this channel before Jermaine Shoemake opens up that school. And I'm also going to I'm putting myself out there. If by some fluke the man opens up the school, I am going to donate $100 to that school. It has to open with students and staff. So, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I put it out there. I want y'all to hold me accountable. If by some fluke Jermaine Shoemake is able to open that school up tomorrow, I'm writing a check on Monday. I'm putting it in the Cash App on Sunday. I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about that. But today, I'm just ornery. So shout out to all of the Jermaine Shoemake supporters. I appreciate y'all. Every time y'all come in my comment section, I'm dropping another video. I'm so petty. How petty are you, Jason? I've already loaded in the cannon 3 videos. This one is not one of them. That's how petty I am. Let's go. We're gonna listen to Jermaine Shoemake say ignorant stuff. I'm gonna stop. I'm going to correct the ignorance. I do think it's funny that he has that white hood on, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm the Black Pope. Let's get at it. Let's get active.
She had no patience for the snitch. And unfortunately, the Black church has become a snitching institution. Today is Sunday. Today is Sunday. Right now, we have family inside of a church worshiping God, so they think, in the avatar of Jesus Christ, worshiping God.
Okay, guys, stop real quick. Jesus is not an avatar of God, but I don't expect Jermaine Shoemake to actually be intelligent. So let's just let him go, Jason. Let it go.
In the avatar of Jesus Christ. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. But they are sitting in a church, most of which, 99% of which, have done nothing to improve the black community at all in any major area of life. Let me say that again.
I'm going to stop and I'm going to say that neither have you, Jermaine Shoemake. Neither have you. When you stole that money from King Randall, video coming up soon, you didn't help the black community. When you had not one, but two baby mamas and two kids out of wedlock, and you're not living with any of them, not helping the black community. I'm listening, Jermaine. Why don't you actually do what it is that you want people to do, and we can follow your role model? You can leave breadcrumbs of success. How about that, King Kong clown?
Sunday morning is the most disappointing time. No, not Sunday morning, Sunday. Sunday is the most wasted day in Black America.
I'm sorry, that is the dumbest statement. I'm gonna just keep saying this. Jermaine Shoemake is a complete and total imbecile. He does not understand what the church's purpose is. So therefore, he expects it to be some kind of quid pro quo. I put a quarter in, I get something out type of scenario. I don't understand why it is, if you are so enamored, if banging your head on the floor and worshiping trees was so great, sir, why are you not modeling it for us? Why are you not exemplifying it for us so that we can say, oh, that's a better example? Kind of like your school, though. It's lacking. It's a lot of words, King Kong clown, but no word, no truth. Let's go.
Sunday is the most disappointing day in Black America. Sunday is the most post-traumatic slavery disease day of the African week.
If you believe that, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Let me know that you believe that Sunday is the most post-traumatic slave day. If you believe that, just go ahead and drop it in the chat.
And that's a shame, because I'm a Leo. And Leo day is Sunday.
You a whole grown man. I'm about to offend some people. Y'all, I might lose 10 subscribers right here. But y'all, if you don't mind, stretch your hand toward Dear World Christian and pray for your boy. You a whole grown man telling me that the idea of Jesus Christ is some kind of slave mentality, but you are also the man talking about astrology, meaning that you were born under a particular star, under a particular moon phase, and that directs and guides your life. But I'm crazy because I believe that Jesus Christ is Lord. But you're okay because you're over here talking about Leo season. Okay. I'm sorry. If you're offended by that, go ahead and hit that unsubscribe button. I'm not going to get off of that. That's the stupidest thing. And you're a whole grown man, my guy. No, we're not 10 years old. I admit I was reading my horoscope when I was 10 in a little Beacon News newspaper. I would read it. I didn't even know what I was reading. I didn't understand what they were talking about. But my guy, we 50s now, my guy. Let it go. You are responsible for yourself. It's not the moon's fault that you are an idiot, Jermaine. It's not the water level's fault. King Kong conscious clown. It's not the water level's fault, my guy. It's not because your mama spit you out in a certain day of the week. He said.
Leo Day is Sunday. Not only is Leo Day Sunday, the Nat Turner War Revolution began on a Sunday.
Because nothing else happened until Nat Turner, right? Oh, my word. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
August the 21st. The Nat Turner Revolutionary War began on a Sunday. But Sunday, which is supposed to be a holy day for Black folks.
Well, this is another thing. Jermaine Shoemake worships his skin color. So in the video I did about white Jesus, the issue is because somebody said that in the Bible, it tells you what Jesus looks like. Okay, whatever. But the idea, the notion, this a level of I derive some kind of value because Jesus might have had a big, broad nose or might have had big lips? Is that supposed to be something that brings me into heaven? Do I get like a 50% off my sin because I'm black and Jesus was black? What does that mean? What does it matter? I'm dead serious. In the chat, in the comments, let me know if I'm crazy. But why would it matter? If Jesus Christ was Asian, I mean bona fide Asian, not insulting Asian folk in any way, shape, or measure, but he was an Asian man and he did all that he did to save my soul, I guarantee you it wouldn't make any more difference to a person that's Asian today. This is just insane. But Jermaine Shoemake worships his skin color. That's the thing. And a lot of people want to feel that kind of way. That's why they support this guy. They support him because he says what they want to believe. Oh, I'm special. Ooh, I'm special to God. Oh, yeah, God look like me. And that's why they support this clown. Nobody would follow this if it wasn't for any other, some level of feeling like you're one up on another person. That's why the cross, everybody's equal at the cross. See, that's the problem that they don't like. They don't like the fact that when you come to Christ, it doesn't matter if I'm Governor Jason. It doesn't matter if I'm King Jason. I got to come to this foot of this cross and bow before the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So they don't like that part. They want to have some kind of one-upness. It's kind of like what Paul said that lest any man should boast. I'm mad tonight.
Is a day of coonery and deception. You go to church, and in most churches, black churches, Jesus is still white. Let me say it again.
You don't have to say it again because you're lying when you say it. And I'm going to say it again. I'm just going to keep saying it, that iconography and typology of Christ is out of line. It violates the second commandment. So just because somebody violates the second commandment doesn't mean we throw out all the commandments. Kind of like speeding. Just because somebody speeds, I live in Georgia, we speed. Just because people speed doesn't mean we throw out speeding laws. I'm just saying. This is just stupid. But let him go, Jason.
Monday, August the 21st. The Nat Turner Revolutionary War began on a Sunday. But Sunday, which is supposed to be a holy day for black folks, is a day of coonery and deception. You go to church, and in most churches, black churches, Jesus is still white. Let me say it again. 400 years later. Let me say it again. 400 years later. Let me say it again. 400 years later. And in most black churches, not just in America, but around the world, in most black churches, not just in America, but around the world, Jesus is still white. Jesus is still white in Africa. Jesus is still white in Australia. Jesus is still white in Europe. Black churches in Europe. Jesus is still white in Canada. He's still white in the United States. He's still white in the Caribbean. He's still white in Central and South America.
Watch this. If you get away with iconography and just stop doing that stupid stuff, you realize that the last 2 minutes of what Jermaine Shoemake is talking about will go out the window. That's why I say, your church doesn't do iconography, this problem is solved. You're not supposed to do it, so just don't do it, and now the problem is rectified. Because all it is imagery. And again, I challenge you, if you want to just go on Google, do a Google search for Chinese Jesus, Indian Jesus, Middle Eastern Jesus, and it's fill in the blank, have fun. You'll find pictures and artwork of Jesus of every spectrum, every color. Again, like I joke about it, but you can find an Eskimo Jesus. So what is that saying? And I asked somebody in the comment section, shout out to all my people that from the King Kong Clownery page that came to my comment section. And again, every time y'all come to my comment section, I'm dropping another video to hurt your feelings. I'm telling you already, I already got 3 in the cannon, and I got so much more to unleash. So please come in the comment section, say the ignorant stuff that you said, and I will gladly do it again. But watch this. I asked the person, well, what if I was born in an Asian culture? What if I was born in Asia as a highly melanated man in Asia? Would that change anything at the fact that they have iconography of a Asian Jesus? Would that change anything? Would that make it less? Would that make the gospel less potent? Anything besides the fact that it violated the second commandment? But what would it do? The person went away and doesn't have anything to say. Let's go, Jason. Let's go.
Why is Jesus still white in the black church after 400 years?
He shouldn't be black, white at all.
Why is Jesus still white in the black church after 400 years? Now I'm going to say something to black parents.
Oh man, this was so ignorant. Oh my gosh, y'all! If you have children, please, this one right here. If you are a believer in Christ and you attend church on a regular basis, you have not heard anything this stupid. I'm promising you. I promise you. As sure as my name is Jason, you've not heard anything this ignorant as what he's about to say. And please remember again, Jermaine Shoemake makes no qualms about it. He is not a Christian. Big screen. Jermaine Shoemake makes no qualms about it. He is not a believer in Christ. He's not trusting in Christ and Christ alone for his salvation. So all of his advice, all of his tenets, everything that he pushes out there is really falling on deaf ears because it matters none. But let's let him finish this up, Jason. Watch this.
To say something to black parents. Good morning, Sister Angela Bryant, Sister LaQuanza Morrison. Shout out to my brother Stefan Mark, Amatullah Salim. I think that's a queen. Peace to the queen. King St. Louis, RBG all day. His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Marcus I, Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari, Wifey Octavia, John Blaze. Listen, I want black parents to understand, understand and overstand. I want black parents to understand, understand and overstand that if your church has white images of the deity that looks like our enemy, if your church has images of the deity that looks like our enemies, if the church you worship at has images of your deity that looks like our enemy, your children should not go with you to church. Don't indoctrinate and program your black baby's unconscious. Don't indoctrinate and condition your black children's unconscious with a belief that God is white. It's one of the worst things a parent can do to a child. It's one of the worst things.
Okay, I told y'all. I know. I tell y'all a lot of the time, like, you've never heard anything this dumb. But was I wrong? Was I wrong? Did I lie? Was that ignorant? First of all, he has now declared people of less melanin are his enemies. So it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter who you are. Just because of your skin color, you are his enemy. Boy, it does sound like partiality, doesn't it? It's almost like if only the book of James had said something about partiality. I digress. But moving from there, he is now excluding children from coming to worship with mom and dad. To see that mom and dad take worship of God seriously because of iconography. And dare I might say again, if you don't have pictures and images and statues and such of that nature in your church, this whole thing is a moot point. But I don't understand where he gets it from. And I'm please, if you are Umar Johnson supporter, you come to the front of the class, you come to the front of the line, and you are welcome to explain to me how this is a valid point. But I am going to ask you a simple question. It's a two questions. What is the purpose of the church? And how does one become a Christian? Those are my 2 questions, but you're welcome after that. I will answer all your questions. You can talk about all the dumb stuff, bang your head on the floor and Leo season and all of that kind of stuff. But there's just those 2 questions. So anybody that supports Umar, you get to come to the front of the line, and I just need you to answer those 2 questions. What is the purpose of the church, and what is or how does one become a Christian? That's all I want to ask, and then I'm yours. After that, we can just go to town. All right, finish up, Jason. Let's go.
A parent can do to a child is indoctrinate your babies with a belief that God is white by taking them to church. If that church don't have African images of the Christ, who was African anyway, if that church doesn't have African images of the Christ, who was African anyway, leave the children at home.
Jesus was African. I'm just gonna leave that. You know what? Just leave it alone, Jason.
Or you stay at home and you pray with the children, because Jesus said the temple of the Most High is within me. Jesus said the temple of the Most High is within. He didn't say go to church. He didn't say go to a mega church. He didn't say put on your tightest outfit and go parade around the men. That ain't what he said. He said the temple of the Most High is within.
Isn't it funny that people who you'll never hear me quote the Quran. You never hear me quote the Quran unless we're having a discussion particularly directly about, but I know that that's not, I don't quote it. I don't quote Kingdom Hall translation of the Holy Scriptures. I don't quote the Book of Mormon or anything of that nature. I always think it's very funny people who do not profess to be Christian that quote or try to quote or mangle, abuse, assault the scriptures to use it only when it's to their liking. But then they castigate mega churches, which by the way, I do as well, but they castigate people who don't practice Christianity in earnest, but they themselves don't either. I just think that is amazing to me. That has to be the highest watermark of clownery on the block. But let's go and let's finish.
Letting the black church brainwash your black children into believing God is white. Letting the black church brainwash your black children into believing God is white. Letting the black church brainwash your black children into believing God is white is a form of child abuse. It's a form of child abuse.
I'll go a little bit further and say listening to you repeat yourself like a 3-time imbecile, that's elder abuse. Because I'm getting kind of old. So this is elder abuse. Listen to you repeat yourself like a complete and total moron. That's elder abuse. And I don't know why. Who do I punish? Because I'm the one that brought the video in. Dark on it.
It's a form of child abuse. It's a form of child abuse. If you do not revolutionize your religion, black people will never be liberated. If you do not revolutionize your religion, black people will never be liberated. Spirituality is too essential. Spirituality is too essential to the collective consciousness of African people for us to allow it to remain incarcerated by the interpretations and dogmas of white supremacy, Arab supremacy.
Okay, because he's going to say, and again, if you are a King Kong clown supporter, you get first dibs. You get first bite at the apple. DearWokeC@gmail.com. I would love for you to tell me how, because I've never understood. Now, again, I got 2 questions. What's the purpose of the church? How does one become a Christian? And if you could book, chapter, and verse in context for me, it'd be really great. But after that, I'm going to take all your questions. I'm going to listen to all your clownery. But I just got this one. It's kind of a bothersome thought. I think this light is moving in my office. I think it is. It is moving. Uh-oh, we might have a problem. Big screen.
Or any other supremacy. If the religion does not serve a useful purpose in the liberation struggle, that is a good sign that the religion is not for you or by you. The religion must be for us and by us. The religion must be for us and by us. If you go to the Sunni Muslim masjid and you go there, and I grew up on the Sunni Muslim masjid, and in all
Light issue. I think the light is no longer moving. Yeah, I think I got it straight. The dude is talking about he doesn't like formalized religion. He's going to talk about a masjid. He's just talked about ancestor worship and all this kind of jazz of that nature. I guess it's a foregone conclusion that the largest purveyor of modern day slavery in the negative sense, not even the year of Jubilee, 7 years slavery, none of that stuff, the modern day slavery. Don't tell him where it comes from and what religion it is, because I think he might not know. I'm just saying.
all my years, hardly ever was there a conversation on what we going to do to help our own black people. Never. Never. The Sunni Muslim movement has no interest in liberating black folks from white supremacy. None. Zero. You might have some Muslims who are conscious, but the institution of Islam in this country and the black community has no interest in liberating black folks, and the church is no better.
I got a question. And again, I'm not trying to be asinine. I don't understand. What is and I need concrete. Don't give me ethereal, platitudes. I need something that I can really tangible, I can put my hand on. What is the oppression that you're experiencing? I'm not trying to be asinine, not trying to be difficult. DearWokesee@gmail.com. What is the oppression that you are experiencing that you need to be liberated from? I would love to know. I'm interested in hearing, because maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I'm brainwashed. Maybe I'm brainwashed. I would love to know, like, what is the actual oppression that you're experiencing? Because I have another video where Jermaine Shoemake openly talks about how he's podcast hopping and getting paid. Remember yesterday I talked about that? Today I went down a rabbit hole and I actually found him talking about that, what I said yesterday, that he's going to podcast to make money. And he talks about it. He talks about podcast hopping. And he zips around the country. He was recently here in Georgia and he podcast hops. But how are you in bondage? I just want to know. Just asking a question.
The church is no better. The church is no better. If you are not allowed to be proud to be an African, if you are not allowed to claim being African, if you are not allowed to discuss the problems facing African people in your church, in your masjid, then that church, that masjid is an institution of white supremacy. There are no neutrals in war. Nobody is neutral in a war.
You are at war. I don't know. Maybe you did not know that. Maybe you need to go ahead and I need to insert like one of those 1980s action movie war setups where they put on the paint and they're getting everything like that. You're at war. I don't know if you knew this. I know. Nor did I. I mean, go figure, right? Oh my gosh. All right, let me see. Maybe you didn't know this. Did you know that you were in war? In the chat, did you know that you were in war? That you're at war with people because they have less melanin. Not because necessarily because they're Northerners or Southerners, West Coast or East Coast or Hatfields and McCoys, but just because their skin color is less on the skin side than on the inside of the hand side. Okay, I'm just saying. This is what I'm trying to understand.
Nobody is neutral in a war. Nobody is neutral in a war. And that's another problem we have.
You know what? I agree with Jermaine. Uh-oh, y'all. Insert craziness montage here. I agree with Jermaine. I am at war. I'm at war. You know what? I am at war. And I'm going to go on a limb and say, if you are a Christian, you're at war too. I know exactly, and I know who your enemy is. And guess what? You know who your enemy is. That's right. You're at war with your old sinful nature. That's right. Every day you put to death the misdeeds of the flesh. So, yes, I am at war, and I am not neutral against Jason's old, sinful, depraved nature. Every day I try to put it to death, just one more, and wake up the next day. We got to do it again. But you know what? I'm going to put it to war. He's right. I don't think that's what he meant, but he's right.
We have too many neutral Negroes in the black community. How many black folks you go by? And most of them are religious. It's hard to be a black religious person. It's hard to be a American African Muslim or Christian and be politically conscious. It's hard because your religion indoctrinates you to be anti-political, and your religion indoctrinates you to be colorblind. Islam indoctrinates you to be colorblind.
I have to admit, I forgot about this segment right here. This almost requires a whole nother show itself. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it alone. Let it roll. Let it roll, Jason.
Christianity indoctrinates you to be colorblind. We suffer because we African. Our number one problem in the universe that other people have with us is the fact that we are God's original people.
Okay, I can't let it go. Because I just think this argument is so ignorant. Let me ask you a question then. Let's just, for laughs and giggles. Was there war, death, oppression, dictatorship on the continent of Africa apart from any influx or influence of any other people group? Was there? Or was it all just like, sunshine and rainbows and everybody was living kumbaya, Wakanda forever type of scenario? Or was there actual issues on the continent apart from other people groups, influence and influx? Just wondering. Because you would almost think, and I've actually heard people say this, that there was no death and anything of that nature until white people came to the continent. I said, that's got to be the craziest thing. That's the hottest take, as the kids like to say, I think, ever. Let's get done, Jason.
So if your religion doesn't acknowledge the divinity of your color, if your religion doesn't acknowledge the divinity of your color, if your religion doesn't acknowledge the divinity of your melanin, if your religion doesn't acknowledge the divinity of your ancestry, if your religion doesn't acknowledge the divinity of you being God's first people, then that religion is serving your enemy.
So, and again, I'm not trying to be asinine, but let's just pretend that everything he said is true. Let's say Jesus was as black as Jason, right? He's as black as the black pope, right? Does that mean I get like a get out of hell free card? Like, what does that matter when the smoke clears, when all the dice are put away? What does it matter if, in fact, Jesus was black? But he's saying that we are divine. So he's saying that we are deity. So that's a whole nother game of wax, because he's calling people of high melanin lowercase g gods, I believe. I don't understand that. So what does that do? So does that mean that I don't need Christ? Does that mean I don't have to repent? Does that mean I don't have to turn away from my evil thoughts and my wicked deeds and transactions? I don't have to do those anymore because I'm a lowercase g God?
Black religion has never overwhelmingly been for black liberation. I'm going to say it again. Black religion has never overwhelmingly been for black liberation. Never. Dr. King had to fight the church. Jesus Christ had to fight the church. The black liberation struggle had to fight the church. The church is conservative. Black church is conservative. Black religion is conservative. The Sunni Orthodox Masjid is conservative.
I have no idea how Sunni Muslims and Christians got into the mix. Jesus had to fight the church. Y'all stop this man. Please stop this man.
They are conservative. T.D. Jakes is a conservative. Creflo Dollar is a conservative. They are conservative. The question is, what are they conserving?
I'm sorry. I can't even understand.
What is the black church conserving and being conservative? It's conserving the status quo. That's what it's conserving. When you hear somebody like Candace Owens, or Jesse Lee Peterson,
both of them, by the way, are not Christian. Being a conservative does not mean that you're Christian. Just saying. Just gonna go ahead and throw a little wet blanket on that one real quick before he tries to start his little forest fire.
who I believe are the husband and wife of black coonism. Candace Owens and Jesse Lee Peterson are the husband and wife of black coonism. Candace Owens and Jesse Lee Peterson are the husband and wife. They are the poster couple for black coonism. But a black conservative is nothing more. A black conservative is nothing more than a black person who wants to conserve the status quo. That's it. So the next time a Negro tells you I'm a conservative, the next time a Negro tells you I'm a conservative, he's admitting he's a coon. Conservative. Conservative. He or she wants to preserve the white power structure as it is. We want to conserve this great country the way it is. We want to conserve the inequity. We want to conserve the racism. We want to conserve the police genocide. We want to conserve the miseducation. We want to conserve the lack of resources in the black community. We want to conserve white Jesus. A black conservative is a status quo gatekeeper.
I'm just letting them talk, y'all, because one, the video is going a little longer than I anticipated, but even more than that, I honestly have no idea what he's talking about. I'm sorry. I'm looking for a roadmap. I might need a gatekeeper to let me into the gate so I can figure out where I am, because I have no idea what we're talking about. I have no idea. But I mean, he hates Jesse Lee Peterson. He hates Candace Owens. Okay, got you. They're not Christians, so I don't have an argument in that race. No, let's continue.
A black conservative is a status quo gatekeeper. Was Mao Zedong a conservative during the Chinese Revolution? Was Chiang Kai-shek a conservative during the Vietnamese Revolution?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Was the Shah of Iran a conservative during the Iranian Revolution? Was George Washington and Thomas Jefferson a conservative during the American Revolution? Show me anybody who has ever brought meaningful change who claims to be a conservative. A black conservative is a coon.
He sure snorting a lot.
I don't use the term colorism, or should I say that's not my major term for dealing with Negroes with skin tone issues. Light skin supremacy, dark skin supremacy, brown skin supremacy.
So there's issues even within the groups. Okay. All right, I got you.
Now, a revolutionary conservative wants to conserve African culture, African traditions,
He just making
African
up stuff at this
revolutionary
point.
spirit. A revolutionary conservative wants to conserve the teachings of our grandmaster teachers. We want to conserve our culture. We want to conserve our ancestral heritage. A revolutionary conservative wants to conserve the great history of African people. But a political conservative ain't nothing but a coon who wants to protect the white power structure, the status quo as it is.
Wouldn't that be by default, though? Contrary to say that I'm a revolutionary, which means change, usually forcible change, and I want to conserve. It's almost like he just made that up. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And again, any of the Jermaine Shoemake's supporters, y'all come to the front of the line, dearwokec@gmail.com. I think he made that up. I think he just reached over, pulled that out of his posterior, and just put it out there for the world. He made that up because they actually contradict each other. Revolution means change and doesn't say anything about conserving change. I'm just saying. I think he just made that up. Straight out of his posterior. What you looking at? Where that school at? Oh, that was the end of it? Oh my goodness. Praise his holy name. I didn't realize it ended right there. Well, what do you know about that? Okay. Well, I wanted to just do that very quick. I thought it was going to be quick, but it went a little bit longer than I anticipated. And I appreciate y'all tapping in with me and kind of bearing through this with me. One of the issues and problems that I see with Jermaine Shoemake is that he is allowed to speak on issues that he has no stake in. He has no stake in them at all. I guarantee you, if you ask him what is the overall tenet of the Christian faith, what is the gospel, he would not be able to tell you. Any of Jermaine Shoemake's people that come in, I'm gonna ask them how does one become a Christian, and what is the purpose of the church? Those are my two questions. And then I'll answer any of their questions. We can have fun for 3 days. I don't care. But I've got those two questions. But I do want to just point this out, that he's allowed to speak unintelligently. Yes, unintelligently about topics that he doesn't know anything about. And that's got to be crazy work. That's nasty work. That is it. So, and he's very confident because he knows what he's saying is foolishness. The previous video where he was talking about white Jesus is Superman, and he started listing off all of these quote unquote African deities. I did a quick search. I didn't do a deep dive into it, and I couldn't find those. So I'm going to stand on the idea that he made those up. Maybe I couldn't find the proper pronunciation, spelling of them, whatever. But I just did a quick search. I couldn't find them. So that being the case, I'm going to stand on what I said in the video, that he's just making that up. It's just hogwash. He just made it up. He knows nobody's going to check him on it. Nobody's going to call him on the carpet about it, and he'll get away with it. So he'll say things like churches have white Jesuses in them, but they don't. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some. I'm not saying there are not some, but they're wrong for doing that. But that doesn't change the gospel at all. It changed the fact that they're violating the second commandment. That's it. It's real simple. It's very easy. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. But y'all, thank you so much. I'm going to do a live stream tonight at 8 o'clock. We'll just do answer Q&A. I got a couple of fun videos to look at. We're going to look at that Tesla thing that happened in Las Vegas at Trump Tower. Got a couple other small little articles to discuss and just kind of hear where you all are, how you all are starting off your 2025. Is it going in the right direction? Are you looking forward to what's going to happen in 2025 and all that kind of good jazz? So I'll see you all in about 2 hours, give or take. So everybody, until then, grace and peace. See you soon.
Yo, hit that like for deal with Christian. Yo, for deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian. For deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for Devil Christian.